Hi. Hello. My name is Colleen Lyons. Those of you on Instagram already know that, but I'm gonna put this on YouTube. So, I'm 26 years old, and I live with neurodivergence, I'm pretty sure. And this is my video of coming out of the closet for the first time publicly about what forms of neurodivergence I live with. I live with autism and schizophrenia. I've been out of the closet for about 6 months about living with neurodivergence, but still closeted about what forms. So there you have it. That feels really good. I'm really nervous. I don't know if this video is like the worst decision I'll ever make, socially or professionally, but I know that it's pretty much all I think about day and night, and so something had to be done. My life is kind of falling apart because people that I'm forced to be in close proximity with, or just that I find myself in close proximity with, don't know about my conditions, and they're uneducated, therefore, on how to respond in the event that any symptoms occur. And so while I would have liked to be in a very stable spot to come out of the closet, I feel like I'm coming out of the closet forcefully a little bit, just because my basic needs have been jeopardized recently because people didn't know. So I'm working on just I'm coming out mainly to prevent further mistreatment from people being uneducated. I know that this, and it's not my job to educate people, 1 second, sorry. Perfect. I had to cover the front-facing camera with a book, so I'm not distracted by seeing my face. Okay, so I know that it's not my job to educate people in this video about how to treat someone living with neurodivergence, but I just want to tell people that I am. And they can choose from there whether or not to educate themselves further. And they would need to do that if they plan on being close to me. I have a lot. I could educate people. I have like a lot of knowledge on it, but I have to be in the right energy for that. So it can't be expected that I would be the one to educate them when all of the information can also be found online and such. So, let's see. I found out about autism when I was about 19. I found out about schizophrenia at age 22. The early 20s, 21 and 22 specifically, is when schizophrenia hits. And it really hit me. It was, I mean, with the autism, I was able to just sort of live on kind of normally, but when I found out, but with the schizophrenia, it completely tore my life apart. It was a drug-induced psychosis, and most of the psychosis symptoms went away when I stopped drug use. It was just marijuana. But I knew that I knew that it stirred underlying conditions that I had in my physiology. So although it was I know that if I were to continue with the drug use, I would have had recurring psychotic episodes. And stopping the drugs prevented me from having a lot of psychotic episodes, but I still experience a huge portion of my life, the majority of it, with the other parts of the complexity that is schizophrenia. I was living on the West Coast at the time in British Columbia, and the schizophrenia, it took a couple of years leading up to it to manifest like into its like strongest point, and I've heard that's normal. So I guess I started experiencing that like age 20 or so, and then there was a climax when I was 21, and I had to be moved home to Regina, Saskatchewan, where I'm from, and live with my parents for 3 years. When I first moved back, I was forcibly hospitalized in the adult mental health ward in Regina, and it wasn't a positive experience for me. Although I know it is for many people, and it saves their lives. I was medicated for a short time when I was in there, but I took myself off of medication without them knowing, and got let out because my condition improved when the drugs were out of my system. After that, I was pretty much catatonic and bedridden for the majority of a year. My my personality had become completely inoperable. And I had to withdraw from life completely. Over time, whether it's because of not being forced to work, whether it's because of having background knowledge on health and wellness and lifestyle choices, just a combination of things, I was able to incrementally build up my stamina and health again. But before then, I had lost pretty much all function in my brain and body, and I didn't think I would ever recover. I didn't think that I would ever live normally. I definitely didn't think I would ever live normally again. I haven't had any hallucinations for years. I haven't had any psychosis for years. So I'm unmedicated, and I healed from acute psychosis naturally. And so I know it's possible for me and others. I was undiagnosed. I am undiagnosed. And so this is a part that I'm really nervous about sharing with others, because I know that they will probably stop watching or not listen by now, because they would not take a case seriously that's undiagnosed. But there's a lot of research that I did at the time over the course of my years of being unable to function, that I was researching, and I found there were lots and lots of cases of people who are undiagnosed, who identify as having schizophrenia and autism. There is a risk in us seeking diagnosis, and that is improper medication or detainment, and for that I have resisted diagnosis, although I dream of having a capable mental health team to help me. But the risks have far outweighed the benefit of trying to seek that on my own. And as far as autism goes, there's many adults right now discovering that they have it pretty late in life. People would argue that I have really light forms of it, of both of those things. But I know at my core that I still identify as having them both in full. Autistics are a lot more likely to also have schizophrenia. The two are both forms of neurodivergence, and they can go together in some cases. There's also tons of more health conditions that can go along with either. A lot more likely to get cancer and heart disease and so forth. But I think a lot of that is brought on by medications.